let's do the intro then.
Okay. Do you want to do it again, or
I can, or you can try this
I
time.
can try it?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you do the music for me?
Bum,
Hel-
bum, bum, bum. Something like that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pixelfield Podcast, when we talk about the latest news from tech and design. I'm Philip, and I'm one of your two hosts.
And I'm Dominic, chief designer of Pixelfield, and your second host.
Okay, so Dominic, what's today's topic?
Today, Philip. I realized I don't know what to believe in anymore. Not believe in, but to believe. I want to talk about deepfakes.
We talk about the, let's say, reality and especially privacy in the changing society in the last episode. So I think we can kind of like continue where we left off the last time.
Exactly. Yeah. I've read a couple of interesting news lately. There has been like loads of I would say attention around deepfakes, obviously, because it's a big topic, and one of them was a huge launch and at the same time like exit or end of the app. I think it was called Deep Nude, which have you seen that? It was.
I haven't seen the app.
Oh yeah, I haven't tried it neither because it disappeared from app stores before I could download it, and even then I wouldn't be sure what to do. But just for our listeners, it was basically an app where you can upload a photo of specifically a woman, which was like the first red flag of this app, and like woman in a clothes, like regular photo of their whole like body, and it would change it. It would basically undress them, right? Using like AI and machine learning. Yeah,
the sole purpose of this application was just to create nude pictures of your friends and colleagues and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it was kind of shady. I don't understand quite of the reasoning behind like taking it out of the App Store, because I think the authors must have known what's going to happen when they made the application public for free, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've tried to find some interviews and I have found some. And the funny thing is I couldn't like find why did they even created this app in the first place. They all tried to look like they are just like technologists and hackers and researchers and innovators or something like that. So they basically said they were just trying to kind of improve this technology, which is definitely weird because there must be better applications of this technology than this. But
I absolutely don't believe that.
Yes, exactly. But basically, they said that they removed the app from everywhere because they had like too much of a traffic and it got like a too big of attention than what they wanted or kind of thought it's gonna get. And they had like, I think 500,000 users in one day. And that was the turning point for them because they said like, oh, yeah, this is like too much. We can't control what it's used for anymore. I mean, it's used exactly for the thing they wanted it to be used, right? So.
Yeah, I think they can, but they cannot control it anyway, right? It's already out there, so anyone can make copies. And I think it's if you would like really try, I think you would find it. Not really try. I think it's going to be available easily still on the internet somewhere. So if you want it, you can still download the code and mess around with that a bit.
Yeah.
So I really don't believe the reasoning, as I've said, and I think the purpose of the application was absolutely clear why it was created, and I maybe wonder if they might not get scared because from the legal point of view, this might be a bit tricky, so that might be the reason why they decided officially to take it down.
Yeah. The interesting thing that basically happened after this was that the big community sites like Reddit, for example, they've started banning deepfakes subreddits. So most of them, even not just like the nude ones, obviously there was like a celebrity nudes subreddit or something like that I think was the like biggest deepfake subreddit that there was, and that was the first one that got removed and banned. But then Reddit started like banning also like political and other deepfake Reddits, and the only ones that are remaining on the site is, I think, like funny videos of Nicolas Cage put onto like different movies and that kind of stuff, which is still active, and most of the users moved into this subreddit. But it's been like quite interesting. I was like trying to do research around that a little bit for this episode, and I found that also porn sites started banning deepfakes a lot, and it's just been happening now after, I would say, after like this app came out and after there has been like so many headlines and news around that, which is quite interesting, and it like got me thinking in general, like, what would deepfakes mean for like the internet and society and everything, and if there is a way to fight it, but also, do we even want to fight it, or like, should we fight it? I mean, by fight it, I mean to ban it and try to like prevent people from creating deepfakes and stuff.
I'm not sure really if you can ban it.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to be more and more available as all the other tech.
Exactly.
I wonder what's like if you don't count in the porn and politics, let's say, then what's some useful application of this technology? Because
I mean, I can see that. Like, I'm not sure how is that better than any other solutions out there, but I can imagine a use for like, let's say, independent movies and maybe even games or something like that, or like interactive art. I think like the first time I really started to be interested in deepfakes was when they did the painting of Mona Lisa and they made her like move and talk and something like that. It was like, that was the moment where I was like, oh wow, this is really cool, and it's really great to see how far the technology has come. But I don't know. Like, but I'm definitely with you on the, like, if we should fight it or not. I think deepfakes are just basically technology advancement. It's just a result of like machine learning and that kind of stuff, and it's kind of inevitable. And I mean, it's nothing like super new. There has been like photoshopped pictures of politicians in even before Photoshop. Like, I was trying to find like first written records of fake news and sort of what we now can call deep fakes or Photoshop pictures and stuff. And I found one example in Great Britain, which was in 18th century, where they've basically like there was a like some I think it was actually like a Sunday newspaper, or basically what used to be that, like the before, and there was like a hoax around that some astrologist or something had created like a big telescope and he could see what's on the moon, and they claimed that there are like huge bats that pick flowers that whole day, and made up like loads of stories, and it actually like made headlines, and it was basically was meant to be like a proven scientific research or whatever, but in the end it turned out to be hoax invented by the newspapers themselves, or maybe the guy, I don't actually know. I couldn't like find too many records of it, but there has been like records like that for quite a long time. It now like sparked an interesting idea, if when I was reading that, if it's actually true or if it's another fake news.
Yeah, I think we've been, as you've said on this example, then we've been fighting this kind of stuff for a very long time. It's not, the form is different, obviously, because now you can create video, and the level of sophistication is much higher than with just like a simple text. But on the other hand, that's the medium that was the most commonly used at the time. So people obviously would tend to believe that information in that form.
Yeah.
So I don't really think it just changes like the game completely, and it brings something new to the table. And I think the problem is the general problem is that most of the people are not able to recognize what's true and what's not, and regardless of the form in which it is presented. So I don't know if this is going to, if you see a fake video of fake Obama saying some nonsense, I don't know if you're more inclined to believe in if the level of what you're going to think is real is going to be different in the form of text or video.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly. I think this is like important point to mention is that I don't think like so much changes with deepfakes. And I think it can actually bring like some very positive change, which is that it will force us to think a bit more critically about the information we are consuming. And I think we already see that with how Twitter is becoming more and more popular. And in general, I've read some research which I would like to link afterwards to the episode, that basically the last couple of years there has been like a huge shift from of like who do you believe in terms of like news and everything, and people are starting to go back more into how it used to be, and they believe more their friends and their like inner circle, and generally are trying to be more critical towards like news sites and things like that, which I think is a positive change. And I mean, something so controversial like deepfakes can actually help to make that positive change and can help create arguments for why we should be like learning how to recognize deepfakes, fake news, and things like that.
Yeah, I think we can also link some game that we shared recently on our Facebook, I think, and maybe it's going to be in our newsletter too, which was like a simulation of Twitter fake news.
Bad news, I think it's called badnews.com. The address is getbadnews.com for our listeners. This is exactly a good example of again for our listeners. It's as you just Philip said, it's a game that simulates Twitter, and you basically start a Twitter account of a like alternative news site, and you deliberately have to try to create like fake news that are believable, that sort of that just augment reality a little bit. Because if you start like bullshitting in a game, then your followers will notice and they will like say, oh, okay, this is just like a prank site, and it's basically game over for you. So I think it's really good, and this is exactly what I'm like excited about. And that's the sort of what's the word? I forgot the word. Prevention. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, it's really good way of prevention, and I like that.
It also demonstrates really clearly that there is certain level that you still have to maintain certain balance between the truth and the lies, that you still have to maintain to your hoax, let's say, to be credible, at least for some groups of people. So you can go bananas totally and come up with some total nonsense. So if we go back to deepfakes, then if there is a blog, let's say, that says that Obama was born on Mars, and you have a video of Obama saying that, okay, I have to come out clean. I was not born in the United States. I was born on a different planet. Then I still think that the percentage of the people who would believe that is going to be very low. Sorry.
Yeah. I agree.
At least I hope that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, at the same time, I think it can really support like conspiracy theories and that stuff, because people do like them, and I think there will be always a huge community of people that's gonna promote this stuff, no matter how bullshitty it's gonna be. But again, that's for me, that's not a case of like banning the technology and anything. I think we just need to make better job at preventing this to happen, and being much better at educating people and educating our friends and followers and everyone on how to spot those things and how to think critically and everything.
Yeah, exactly, because most of the time you don't really need this kind of technology, because like very shitty Photoshop image would do still the same trick, really.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can see, if you open some like conspiracy theorists websites and you look at the pictures they use as evidence, then it's absolutely ridiculous, because it's obviously Photoshop, and people still believe that.
Yeah, so true.
And there was fun thing I read, I think, a week ago, and there was a case when I think it happened in Belgium. There was like a political party, I think it was some socialist party, and they created like a fake Obama video and they put it on their Facebook, and they meant it as a joke, and it was really low quality, and it stated something like that Obama said that they should change their politics regarding the climate change or something like that, and there was a huge rage on Facebook because people believed it, even though they thought that the quality is so low that people are not going to believe the video at all. But they then had to go to the discussion and explain every single of the users there that it didn't really happen, and it was meant as a joke.
This is interesting. It's really like says that technology of deepfakes is not going to change anything that much probably, because people believe what they want to believe in the first place, right?
But yeah, exactly. If you want to believe that Obama is from Mars, then you're going to believe that even
exactly
without any evidence, of course. And but from the privacy point of view, I think it might make some changes there, because if anything can be like manufactured like this, any kind of pictures of your colleagues, of your friends, of yourself in whatever situation, then what's the point of having like any kind of evidence like this, right? If it just can be created and faked. So what I wonder is that I think it's the same all around the world. There was like in Czech Republic, there was many cases of like people sending their nude photos and this kind of stuff, and then being discovered, and it was huge drama for them.
Yeah.
But in 10-20 years, when you can have like those pictures of everyone you desire, what's the point really of looking at stuff like this? You know, that I think in the end you might be more private, because just people won't get bothered by this. In the future.
That's true. Like it always, like I've just, it's like 3 days ago I received an email saying, "Oh, I'm a hacker and I hacked your whole iCloud library of your photos, and I have your nude photos. I'm gonna send it to your friends and family and girlfriend and your job, and I'm gonna ruin your life." And I'm like, first of all, I don't use iPhone anymore, so there's nothing on my iCloud. But then, like, obviously it was scam, but still I was like, yeah, like, do it. Like, I don't know why this should like ruin my life. And like I've encountered a couple of instances of that. I was basically sent like nudes of someone I know, and it was like a terrible situation. But I always felt bad, or like I always felt angry towards people that leaked it, but I never felt anything bad against the person that was on the photos, right? And why should I? Like, it's nothing like wrong about having those pictures or anything. So I think I'm with you on this one. Like, I hope that maybe this can also like change the perspective of what is acceptable, what is moral, what is not, and maybe we will start like be less prone to let someone's life get ruined by such a stupid things. Yeah,
and maybe hopefully people will less inclined to digging into someone's privacy, because if you want to have someone else's nudes, right, you don't have to hack their phone. You can just create them by yourself, and you're good to go. So.
Yeah. So true. But I wonder what it's going to do in, like, for example, law enforcement, and because right, imagery is a very important evidence in many like crimes right now. So can it affect that or not? I don't know. I haven't been thinking about that before, but yeah, it's definitely good, I think, to follow this space, and I think it's good that many researchers from I think the research I read about deepfakes was from Cambridge University, but many universities are now joining, and also governments are joining into like research around deepfakes and how to recognize deepfakes, which for our listeners, I have to say, like, it's usually very easy right now to recognize deepfakes because it's just not so good. The technology is not so good right now, and you have to really spend like loads of time manually if you want to create like a perfect deepfake. But most of them can be spotted by different lighting. Hair is like a typical like a place where you can spot that it's a deepfake because the hair just doesn't really blend with the background as it should, and etc. But yeah, what I wanted to say is that I'm happy that like governments and researchers are taking action into like recognizing it, and maybe by the time that deepfake gets really good, we'll also have a good sort of counter deepfake software.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that. Yeah, because every time there is some kind of like new technology that's going to complicate things or maybe help crimes or whatever, then there is still going to be people working on this to help recognize it and minimize the effects of it. So
yeah,
let's hope it's not going to be the worst case scenario.
Yeah. As the last time, I'm positive about this. It's new technology. That's all it is. We have to deal with this. I think we have to get used to it. We have to think critically about it. But yeah, it's
and we have to take in account the sources we watch and the people we follow and the media we listen to, because that's the most important thing. And you have to always, you can only look at the picture or what's written in there, but at the context as well. So I don't think that for the people that are able to like think about what kind of information are getting from who, then it should not be a problem. But for the rest of the world, it might be just another way how to confuse them and feed them some fake information.
Yeah, true. With that in mind, follow Pixelfield. We don't share fake news. We share only interesting stuff about what is happening in the world.
Yeah. So maybe one day we'll replace some AI in this podcast. And
yeah. I mean, do we even have like evidence that it's really us? What if I'm just talking to some very clever AI that we developed in Pixelfield?
Maybe the AI would have better content with us. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it could speak better than me, but
yeah. So I think we can wrap it up now, and we're gonna share the links for the website and for some other interesting related content in the description for you. And thank you for listening, guys, and we would be happy to talk to you next time. If you have any topics that you would like to hear us talking about, then let us know.
Yeah, it's Hello Pixelfield on Twitter and just Pixelfield on Instagram, which are, I think, our two favorite platforms, especially Twitter.
Okay. Thanks, and until next time.
Bye.